while, let me just go ahead and say this. Unit 3 is on business. It's on financial and business decisions. And a lot of it is what? Common what? Sense. But you'd be surprised.
It's supposed to be, but they don't.
Yeah. You'd be surprised on how many people don't have a clue. And so when I first start this section off, you're going to be like, really? Do we have to go over this? Well, no, we don't have to do anything. I could just give you a test on it tomorrow, but I don't think that's fair. So what I do is I cover what I cover everything, but I spend less time on those things that should be what? Common sense, which is like a budget. I'm sorry, but everybody in here should know what a budget is. I mean, that kind of stuff I'm not going to spend a lot of time on.
I'm in the middle of working on like a 16-page budget project.
Are you? Good for you.
It's got like everything on it. Which I'm
For what class?
For my personal financing class, it's like, well, I think it's like 14 like different spreadsheets on it. And I'm doing it based off Hawaii prices. Because I'm moving there in January. So.
Well, I pretty much have a budget in my head. This is not my class.
It's
What the
probably logged in the, yeah, it's logged in.
She's logged.
You can totally like go ahead and mess with it.
Yeah, I can go in there and mess all the grades up. Because I'm a super nerd. All right. Let's see. 103. Somebody tell me what chapter this is. 4? Thank you.
I think we do all 6.
Yeah. And that's good because I think it's a great thing. In fact, I've already told my boss that this needs to be expanded into more business math. Because I told her we should take Unit 4 out, which is logic. Take it out and put more of the business math in there and more of the applications, because we have had so many students come to us and say, I am so glad you taught this. Because people don't even know how income tax works. And people don't even know that they're paying already 25% of their paycheck to Uncle Sam. And you got all these people running around here going, oh, we need to pay more taxes. We need to pay more. People that make more money should give more money, more taxes. Do you know how much rich people, do you know how much they already pay? Upwards to 40% of their pay, of income. So that means 40% of every dollar they make goes to the government. That's outrageous. That's ridiculous. And people say, oh, well, you for the rich people. No, I'm not. I'm for people that what? Work. If Miss Brissy out here goes out here and she invents the can widget, which does blah, 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 and she copyrights it, and she makes $10 million off of it, why should I take 40% of her money? That's just ridiculous. It's all in this entitlement thing. Anyway, people don't understand. And yes, I do get on soapboxes when we get to income tax. I'm sorry, but I get on soapboxes. Anyway, but they are working on it right now, and I hope they do a good job on it. Last person that did a good job was Reagan, and that was in 84. And that's been, what, 30 years ago? And we've done all kinds of things in technology, but we haven't updated our tax code. Why? Because DC loves stagnation. They love everything to be the way that it was 10, 15 years ago. Because that way they don't have to do what? Work. Nobody likes to work. All right, let's see what they got. Let me just go down here and see what they got for the first section, because I know what we're going to teach. I just want to see what they got in the PowerPoint. 4A. And Shift or Control F5. Well, I thought it was F5. I guess it's not. Okay. Again, this kind of stuff right here, I'm not going to tell you that you should know your bank balance. We had a Marine one time, and he was in my squad because I was a squad leader. And he wasn't too bright. we were over in Saudi Arabia, and his wife, we were over there for about 6 months, and his wife wrote a letter saying that she was pregnant. And he believed it was his. And then, of course, it was probably like 3 months, because we were over there about a year. So about 9 months later, she sends pictures of this kid. No, it wasn't the right, not gender, but wasn't the right color. And homeboy believed it was his. Said it was some kind of heredity thing. Yeah, it was a heredity thing. All right. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because this kid, he would take his statement every month, and he would take the end balance of the statement and put that in his checkbook, and he would write checks off of that end balance. So if he had $5,000 on his end balance, he'd put that in his checkbook, and he'd write a $200 check, and it'll be $4,900. And then it took us 3 months to get his checkbook balanced. It took me and a couple other Marines to get his check balanced, and that's with the last 5 or 6 people graduate high school. They should not procreate, they shouldn't drive, and they shouldn't have money. Okay? And that's where I get that from. That kid was dumb as a box of rocks. All right? But some people don't know how to do this stuff. And when you're teaching this class, you have to go over certain things like this. Know what you spend. What does that mean? Well, if you're a Marlboro Club person, do you really know how much you spend on Marlboros every day? I have no idea how much they are because I detest them so much, but I think they're about $5 a pack, isn't they? Aren't they? Huh? They're more? Okay, well then how much is in a box? 12 packs? Or 10 packs? Good gosh, that's $70 a box. And if you're in the Marlboro Club, that means you eat them. That means you're at least 2 packs a day. That means you're a box a week. That means 4 boxes. That means $280 a month. $300 a month times 12 is $3,600. You could buy a used car for $3,600. That's what know what you spend. That's what that means. Now, I'm going to pick on some other people here. I'm not going to pick on anybody because I don't have any bad habits. But anyway, how about these people that go to the hippie place to get coffee? What's it called? Starbucks. Okay? All right, let's talk about that. All right?
That's the example they use in my class, people that buy the $4 or $5 coffees every day.
They're stupid. All right. 5 o'clock, I'm sorry, but if you buy a $5 coffee every day, you're stupid. All right? Once a week, twice a week, I understand. But every day, get you some ice cream, get you some milk, and get you a bullet. And you make you a milkshake every morning, and that's just as good because that's what you're buying. Anyway, know what you're spending. $5 a day, that's $25 a week. That's $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year. That $1,200, that could be a refrigerator or a washer and dryer. Know what you're spending. Be aware of what you're spending. Now, as far as the budget goes, I got a mental budget. It's real easy. Alimony, mortgage, utilities. That's it. I'm broke after that. So that's what people wonder why I got cows. Now you know. I have to sell a cow to buy something, all right? I have to sell steers to buy stuff, all right? But make a long story short, know your budget. Know what you're spending. Keep track of debit and credit card spending. Now, I'm a debit card person. I'm not a check person. I redid my checking account 2013. Yeah. 2013, I redid my checking account to my name. And I'm still writing checks off that booklet of checks. I do not write checks. I have everything offline, online, come out of I have the most important things come out of my paycheck. Why? Because I don't want to be late on a payment. Okay? I used to know somebody that threw away bills because they think you throw them away, they just go away. They don't go away. Okay? All right? Your house payment is number one because you got to have a place to what? Live. All right? So that should come out of your checking account first thing. Then your car payment. Then your insurance, then your utilities. Those four things should come out of your paycheck, or you should have a check written and in the mail the first day of the month. Boom. Because if either one of those four things go out, you're SOL. Really. If you don't have a house, DSS comes to get your kids. I'm serious. I mean, honestly, if you think about it. All right. What if you don't have a car? You can't go to Ingles every day, right? All right? You can't go to work. What if you don't have utilities? DSS. Come get the kids. What else did I say? One more thing. Insurance. What if you don't have insurance on your car? You don't get a license tag, and then eventually you get in trouble with that. Or DSS come get you because you don't have insurance on the kids or house insurance or whatever the case may be. So those four things are essential. The friend that I had to tell him that him and his wife needs to get together and do a budget. And he's like, what's the budget? He's about the same age as I am. He just didn't pay attention in high school and got out and got a job and just been winging it ever since. And him and his wife have gotten together and done a budget. And I said, those are the four things that you need to put. Everything else should be, what about groceries? I said, peanut butter and jelly, buddy. Oh, well, you want to pay those four things and not have DSS come get you? Peanut butter and jelly, and get you a can of soup. And that's number 5, food. And you've got to prioritize and put that in your budget. Now, he said, well, what if I don't have enough money? Then you got to redo your thinking. All right? Well, what does that mean? I said, well, how much you pay on rent? And he's told me the amount. I said, well, you need to cut that to $300. Get you a cheaper place that ain't so fancy. Well, what about car payment? I said, well, we done fixed that. And then utilities, what can you do with utilities? Well, do you absolutely, positively, honestly have to have either a house phone and a cell phone? No. I am just about ready to get rid of my cell phone. I meant my cell phone, not my cell phone. My house phone, because it never rings. My cell phone rings before my house phone will ring. So I'm not real keen on having a house phone. So I said, cut that house phone off. What else can you cut off of utilities? Cable. Exactly. He's a big football fan. He's got all the NFL channels. I said, that's $60 a month that you could be putting toward your food to get you off the peanut butter and jelly. And he's like, I see what you're saying. I said, you're in the Marlboro Club. Well, he's in the Newport Club. All right. And what do we say, $3,600? I told him, I did the math at $5. I think I did it at $5 back. I said, that's $3,000 a year, or whatever it came out to be. And he started thinking, and what he started doing number 2 right there. Knowing what you spend. He started thinking about it. Where else have you heard, if you write everything down, it'll help you? Where else have you heard that before? Besides with financial.
School.
Mm-hmm. What you eat. Have you ever heard of that before? Write down everything you eat. Then you are more what? Aware. Awareness is the biggest thing with financial controlling your finances. Awareness. All right? Don't buy on impulse. Do not go to the grocery store before you eat.
People always tell me I'm picking up extra things.
You go to the grocery store after you have eaten and after you're full. And you take your list. Is a grocery list important? Yes. That way you don't walk into Walmart or Ingles or wherever and just go to get Q-tips and walk out with $500 worth of stuff. All right? You got that list. You stay with that list. Do not take your kids with you. Leave them in the car. DSS will take care of them. Okay? My son, there's 2 aisles he heads to when we go to Ingles now. I used to go to Bilo, but they don't have anything. Toys and cereal. This kid spends 15 minutes in the cereal section. I'm like, come on. Back when I was a kid, it was frosted cornflakes, Tony the Tiger. That's all I wanted. Now it's whatever. Don't buy on impulse, and then make a budget and don't overspend it. Now, can you fluctuate your budget? Yes, you can rob Peter to pay Paul. Oh, I also asked him, how many times you go out to eat? 4 or 5 times a week. No, wife works, but wife don't cook, or he don't cook. I cook all the time now. Okay? Yes, that money comes out of the going out, but where does it go? It goes into the groceries. So you're not eating peanut butter and jelly. Now, should you put $100 or $200 or whatever back to go to the movies, to go out and eat every once in a while? Yes. But that's the place you'll grab the money when you need it, is the entertainment area or the cable area. You'll grab that money and put it into the grocery store, or the kids need clothes. I don't know what you call that, just clothing. But you've got to have an awareness and you've got to have a plan. If you don't, you're going to suck at financial control. Okay? I'm not going to go through this because I think we've done the cigarettes and the lattes. I think we've done that. I'm not going to go through this. Okay? That's basically, why have I got this on? Oh, I had to run copies. That's why. I'm not going to go through this. Y'all can, that's in the book. You can do that. Okay. So let me go to the second one. What did you say, four? Yeah. This is where we probably get into interest. Or it might be just managing money. I don't know. Yep. Okay. You might want to write this down. The principle in any kind of formula, the principle, P-A-L. I thought it was P-L-E. I thought Pal was the guy at the school. Somebody needs to look that up. I think that's wrong. Principle, P-L-E, I think is what they're talking about, but I don't know. Since it's a noun, I guess it would be P-A-L. I don't know. Principle would be more of like a verb or an adverb. I don't know. Principle is the money that you put in. It's kind of like putting into the ante. If you put $5,000 in a savings account, that is the principle. If you put $5,000 in on a loan, that is the principle. Anything you put into something, that is the principle. That's what you have in it. So remember that, because a lot of your interest formulas have a P in it. And that P is for what you put in it, principle. Compound interest. This is what's used most of the time in banks. Compound interest means that you are compounding not only on the principal, but whatever the principal gains. If the principal has $5 interest on it, you calculate the next interest not on $500, but on $505. You calculate the interest accrues. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so that's compound interest versus simple interest. And we'll get into that when we start calculating. Simple interest, there it is. Simple interest, put family and friends out there. All right? Now again, this is knowledge. This is something that not a lot of people understand. And I always use my dad, because my dad, sometimes he helped too many people. All right? He would help people by selling them a car, or getting a car for them, or selling them a piece of property, and he wouldn't go through the bank. He would just say, well, I'll sell it to you for 6% interest, and you pay me at the end of 5 years. You pay to make payments. That's called simple interest. All right? Simple interest is something that you do for a friend or a family member or a neighbor. All right? Why would you charge them interest? A lot of people say, well, that's awful. No, it's not awful. It's business. And that's where you have to draw a line between some of this stuff. You ever heard business is business? It's true. You have to look out for you, and you have to look out for the person that you're trying to help. The interest is only because you could be using that money for something personal. You could be using that money in the bank, gaining interest. You could be using that money to buy a swimming pool. You could be using that money to make improvements on your house. You could be using that money. So somebody needs to pay you for not using that money. And that's what interest is. Okay, whether it's bank interest or whether it's personal interest. All right? Now, you don't want to charge simple interest. If Xavier comes up to me and says, Hubert, I need $10. I ain't got no gas in my car. Then I'm not going to say, okay, Xavier, I'm going to charge you 15% simple interest, and you need to pay me by the end of the week. That's ridiculous. Okay? You give them $10, $20, whatever, and you say, okay, just pay me back by the end of the week. That's just a loan, okay? But when you're talking about something that could be detrimental to your bank account, then yes, you want to charge simple interest, because you could use that money to have a safety nest egg or whatever, safety net or whatever. You could have it in the savings account, gaining interest. You could have it in an IRA, and you could have it in a jar in the backyard, buried. All right. The whole point is you have access to that money, but when you loan it to somebody, whether it's via a piece of land or whether it's whatever, then you are tying that money up, and you can't what? You can't use it. So somebody has to pay you for not being able to use it, and that's what interest is. I'm not going to get into this right now. I want to do simple. Is this simple interest? No, it says compound interest. We haven't even got the formula yet, so we're not going to do that right now. Yes, compound interest, you do it every week, every month, every year, whichever the bank decides. And the previous calculation is carried over to the next calculation. It's not just $500 that you put in. It's $505, and the next month you do it on $510. The next month you do it on $515, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Not much, and we're going to talk about that when we get. In just a minute. I want to get to the formulas before we start doing any calculating. Okay, y'all know I don't like this book, right? Okay, so do not write it like that. I just remembered I don't like this book, so I wonder if somebody changed the batteries on the pen. Nope. No, they did not. I have to use my finger again. There we go. Do not use this, and why people say, why not? Why can't you use it? Well, if you go into a bank or you go into a meeting, you're not going to see this. You're going to see A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. So just forget about this, because nobody uses this. They don't think you have enough sense to understand what all that means, so they have dummied it down to where I don't even want to get into it. All right, P is always going to be the principal. Somebody look that up. I really don't think that's right.
It's recorded.
It is?
Yeah.
So you looked up it is POE?
Yeah.
Good. I always heard that the principal, PAL, that's your pal at school. And that's the difference. All right? R is equal to the rate. It's usually given to you in a percentage, but you change it into a what? A decimal. All right? It's usually given to you in a percentage, but you change it into a decimal. Because you can't calculate with a percent. You have to change it to a decimal. N equals number of times compounding. If I said that it's compounded yearly, then what is that? N is equal to what? 1. It's only compounded one time a year. You don't see that very much. If I say it's compounded monthly, what's that? N is equal to 12. That's done a good bit. What if I said semi-annual? Oh, this is also annual. Annually. Yearly, annually. What's semi-annual? Mm-hmm. So you need to get used to this terminology. Now, I'm not going to write the other two, but what is quarterly? 4 times a year. N is equal to 4. And what would be daily? N is equal to 365. That's never done, hardly. Those banks are not in the generosity business. All right? And T, now be careful on T. Well, let me just do this. T is equal to what? Number of what? Now be careful here, because what if I gave you a problem and I said you put $500 in the bank for 6 months? What is T? Good. T would be 0.5. You do not use 6 months. You use 0.5. So you have to figure. So if I gave you 2 months, and you would say 2 over 12, which is 0.16. You would say T is equal to 0.16. If I said 15 months, well, you would say that would be 3 out of 12, which would be 1.25. So T would be 1.25. Okay?
Would it be okay to use like a financial calculator with this class? Or
Yeah, you can if you want to. Yeah, sure. And I think there's a finance part of the TI-83. You just have to find it. I think it's under math. Okay? So, be used to seeing this. Because 9 out of 10 applications of compound interest is going to be written like this. And if you do this formula, you don't have to use 2 or 3 formulas in this dummy book. Okay? Compound interest. There's going to be a lot of calculator drills in this section, in this unit. So if you got a calculator, bring it to class. If you got 2 calculators, bring them. Okay? So go ahead and do this one. It says you invest $100 in 2 accounts that each pay an interest rate of 10% per year. But one pays simple interest and another pays compound interest. Make a table to show the growth of each over a 5-year period. All right, go ahead and do that. You got 2 problems here. Simple interest is you would multiply. You invest $100 in 2 accounts that pay an interest of 10% per year. For how many years? 5 years. So you're going to have 5 boxes. At the end of the first year, it's going to be simple interest 100 times what? 10%? Or 1.10, or just add, that'd be $110. And then after the second year, it'd be 110 multiplied by, which would be $121. You got to multiply each time by 10% and add it back to, or I multiply by 1.10. That way you don't have to worry about adding it back. That's simple interest. And then compound interest you want to do at the end of every year, or you can do whichever you want. I'll just let y'all do it. Work on it yourself and we'll do it together. I'll go ahead and do simple interest for you since we didn't cover that. All right, first year, let's make a box. You're going to have to use your calculator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is simple interest. And this is compound interest. So at the end of the first year, what's 100 times 100? Oh, sorry. What is 1.10 times 100? Comes out to be $110. All right, now somebody take 110 and multiply by 1.10. What do you get? Now take 121 and multiply by 1.10. 133.1. Whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. 133.1 times 1.10. 146.41. And 146.41 times 1.10. What? So at the end of 5 years, compound interest, you have $161 in the bank. At the end of 5 years. No, you don't add them all up. You can't do that. All right? That would be the generosity business. They'd be in the generosity business. Okay, now, take your principal is 100. Your R is equal to, where's R? 10%, 0.10. N is equal to what? 1, yeah. And for how many years? Now, we're going to pull in our handy-dandy calculator, and we're going to show you how to do this without even writing anything down. So let's take our handy-dandy, back, exit. No, I want to keep it. Okay. Let me pull up my handy-dandy calculator. As soon as I get rid of everything, there we go. And I'm going to pull this over here, like this, like this. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say, okay, R over N, right? So that'd be 0.10 divided by 1. Now, you don't need a calculator to do that, but it's 0.1. Plus what? Plus 1 is equal to that. X to the Y is your caret symbol right there. To the what power? Well, NT is 1 times what? 5. Enter. And then multiply that times what? 100. Okay. Now at the end of 5 years, but if you did that, each one you'd have to set you'd have to set T equal to 1, T equal to 2, T equal to 3, T equal to 4, T equal to 5. You'd have to do it in each little block, and I'm not going to do that because that's just too aggravating. All right. So here, somebody type in T is equal to 1. What would you get? Just go back in there and what would you get? I'm going to put 161.05 here. And somebody do T is equal to 1. That's going to be raised to the first power. R divided by, it'd be 0.1. 1.1, yeah, it'd be $110, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get about the same answer, no matter how you do it. Now, that's with $100. What if you do 100,000? Well, there's going to be a little bit of difference. Just like statistics. The more money, the better. All right, just like statistics. The more surveys, the more tires you pull, the better. Large numbers are good, right? All right, so that's how you do compound interest. I don't particularly like this question. I wouldn't give you a question like this on a test. I would just give you a question, find the compound interest. I wouldn't give you one comparing the two. All right? And we're going to do plenty of them, don't worry. Between y'all sending in questions and me doing problems on the board, we're going to do enough of them. All right, slideshow, current slide. Compare the growth. Oh, we did that. There we go. And you see, okay, I didn't do that part right. Oh, they just added 10 on each one. I'm sorry. You need to change that first one. I did it accruing. They did it just adding. So you need to change that. Just add $10 each month because 100 times 0.10 is $10. I messed up. Now, simple interest, why do you do it for friends and family and neighbors? Notice I didn't say friends and neighbors are the same thing. Why? Because you don't want to what? You don't want to gouge them. You don't want to make money off of them. You just want what is rightfully what? Yours. What's rightfully yours, and the time that you could have used that money, you're getting paid for. Simple interest is a little bit more aggressive. As you can see, about $11. I'll show you why. Another reason I don't like that question. This is the type of question. I can't add another page here, can I? No. The type of question I would ask you on a test on simple interest would be, I'm going to sell you a piece of property for $8,000 over 5 years at 8% interest, and you make monthly payments. Monthly payments. So what do? Take 8,000, multiply by 1.08. Somebody do that. And what do you get?
864.
I'm sorry, what?
I did it wrong. I'm sorry.
8,000 times 1.08.
8640.
Is that what everybody got? 8640.
Yes.
So that's what you owe me right there. If you pay me tomorrow, you owe me that much money. But I told you you could put it over what? 5 years. So how many months is in 5 years? 60. 5 times 12 is 60. So divide 8640 by 60. So you owe me $145 every what? Month. And at the end of 5 years, that's your property. That's how I ask you a question on simple interest. To me, that's not confusing. The way they write it is confusing because you can either accrue it or you can add it. And accrue and add is different with simple interest. Okay, so that's the type of question I would ask you on a test. Capiche? Okay. That's the formula I gave you a while ago. They're just showing you how to get the answer on that. Okay? $1,000 investment at 8% per year. Okay, they're not giving you, okay, I guess T is equal to 1 year. They're not giving you how many years. But what is N? Quarterly. Highlight the word quarterly. N is equal to 4. Put N is equal to 4 over quarterly. And they're not giving you T. The only thing that designates T is per year. So T is equal to 1. So R over N is 0.08. Oops. Did I jump somewhere? Where did I go? Where's that problem? Oh, here it is. Okay, 0.08 divided by 1 equals 0.08. Add 1, whatever, 0.08 plus 1. There. Raised to the what? 1 times what? 4? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, R over N. Be 0.08 divided by 4 equals. Plus 1 equals. Raised to the what? 4th power. And multiply that by 1,000. I got 1,082. That's what they got. 1,082. I know what they're trying to do, but they're confusing people as they're doing it. All right? They shouldn't do this because it confuses people. All right? You're getting the final answer. All right? So there it is. After 1 year, you're going to have $82 profit. $82.43 profit after 1 year. Okay? I told y'all I didn't like this book, so everybody understands that. That means these PowerPoints are not entirely. Okay? Here's the compound interest after n times per year. So instead of teaching you one formula, this book wants you to learn what? 2 formulas, so ignore it. All right, try that one. This is the type question I would ask you on a test. You deposit $5,000 in a bank account and pays 3%. And compound interest is what? You keep it in there for 5 years. And just disregard the last part of the sentence because I wouldn't give you that. Cold pizza, best thing in the world. I didn't hear a word you said. Well, it don't have any bread on it. I scraped it off the bread. That's why. They need to put batteries in these things. There's supposed to be 2 styluses for every board. I don't know why we don't have another stylus. Somebody stole it. And we know who did. And damn who. Russians. Here's one. No, they didn't steal it. Both batteries are dead. I can't work in this environment. All right, so we're going to take our handy dandy virtual whiteboard. I'm going to let y'all do the math because I don't want to have to go back and forth between the screens. So 5,000. No sneezing in class. And our 3% interest, 1 plus 0.03 divided by 12, raised to the 12 times 5, that's 60th power. So what you type in the calculator is you type in 0.03 divided by 12, enter, plus 1, enter, caret symbol, 60, enter, and then what? Times 5,000. Enter. And somebody tell me what you get. 5,808 what? $808.08. So how much money did you make off that money in 5 years? You made over $800. Now, that's not bad. But 10 years ago, what was the rate on a savings account at the bank? Anybody want to take a guess? 10 years ago, that was the going rate. You know what it is now? You know what these are based on? These are based on the nation's what? GDP. For the last 10 years, the GDP of this nation has been around 1%. You know what it used to be? Around 5 or 6%. You know what it is now? In the last year, it has went from 1% to what? 3%. Now, anytime you go to a bank and you talk to the banker or the manager of the banker, ask them, so what's savings account rates look like? And they'll tell you. They'll say they either suck or they don't. And what is that? That is a major indicator of what? The economy. If the interest rate on savings account sucks, that means the economy what? Sucks. So you should be, now it takes a little while, but you should be seeing these interest rates come up as this goes up. When this gets to about 6 or 7%, then you'll be back up here. Because people are not scared to save their money. People are scared to save their money now because they what? They're spending it because they pay living paycheck to paycheck. See how much you learn in this section? You learn a lot of eye-opening things. And I'm not talking from here, I'm talking from math. Why do they not want you to learn this stuff? I guess it's more important to learn about who did what first. Reckon? I don't know how to get rid of all this. I can't erase. I guess I can erase. Yeah. Starting principal, $5. Da 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 da. There it is. Now, what would you do if you won the lottery? I asked that question to a lot of my students when I talked about this stuff right here. First thing I would do is go to the bank. First thing I would do. After I left Columbia, I'd find me a bank somewhere. Well, that's where you got to go to win the lottery. I had to go down there one time. I got $1,000 one time. I had to go down there, and I got $908 after taxes. Anyway, to make a long story short, when you leave there, buddy, let's say you win just the basic lottery, $10 million. Let's make it 12. Because what I do, let's say after they take out the taxes, it's $15 million. So around you take it home about $12 million. Well, first of all, $2 million I would just take off and just blow it. Okay, I would just take that off. So I'm going to take $10 million and I'm going to put it in the bank. Just until I find me an attorney, accountant to take care of me. All right? Because I want to find all the loopholes that I can go through. Why? Because I want to keep my money. I don't want to give it away to who? Uncle Sam. I mean, I love Uncle Sam. But I don't want to give him 40% of my dadgum $10 million. So I'm going to look out for me also. I don't mind paying Caesar what Caesar is owed is okay. But I don't want to keep up 15 families working for DSS or working for DHEC or because they just need a job. No, I don't agree with that. So I'm going to take that $10 million, I'm going to put it in the bank. So my principal now is $10 million. And I'm not in a big hurry. I got $2 million to spend. So I don't really care how long it stays in there. So let's say I'm going to keep it in there for 5 years. Because if I show a statement to a tax attorney and say, look, I got $10 million in the bank, do you think that attorney's going to turn me down for work? No, I'm going to be on that credit plan for that attorney because he knows that I've got money in the bank. All right? So anyway, 5 years. Let's leave it at 5 years. And let's say that the economy is coming back, and let's just say 5%. And compounded monthly. Tell me how much I'd have at the end of the 5 years. That means everybody. Everybody do the work. The more y'all do on the calculator, the better. Because when we get to the amortization, you're going to need all the shortcuts you can on the calculator. So, 0.05 divided by 12 enter. Plus 1 enter. Raised to the 60th enter. Times 10 million enter. Now, before you give me that number, I don't really care because I want you to subtract. Okay, let's say you got a total. Hold on a second. Let's say you got a total. I want you to take that total and I want you to subtract 10 million. Why? Because what am I going to do with that $10 million? I'm going to leave it where? In the bank. So somebody tell me how much did I actually make?
2,833,586.79.
Make sure I wrote that down right. And divide that by 5.
5, 6, 6, 7, 7.
I'm sorry, you're mumbling out on me. 5, 6, 6, 7.
1, 7.
1, 7? Mm-hmm. Xavier, can you live off $566,000 a year? So when you win the lottery, Xavier, don't go to the strip club, Don't buy a gigantic truck and put $600,000 on the console. Because somebody's gonna wait for you outside the strip club, beat you to a pulp and steal your truck. What do you do with money when you come into it? Go to the bank. Okay? I don't care if your grandmother left you $5,000 or if you win the lottery for $10 million. Again, what this whole section is on awareness and doing what? Thinking. And again, you leave that money in there for another 5 years. Because I doubt very seriously, I could spend $2 million in a year. I'd buy a brand new truck, a brand new bulldozer, a brand new track hoe, brand new tractors. So I would have that $2 million gone just like that. But most of you would have a hard time spending $2 million in a year or 5 years. Unless you just go out and just buy stuff. I mean, I just love buying stuff to fool around and farm with us. So, anyway, think about it. That's compound interest. Now you can figure out when you come into some money how much you can put into the bank and how much you'll make at the end of so many years. Is this one of those formulas that you should put in your phone? Yes. Is it one of these formulas that you put in a notebook for you to keep around or your phone in the notepad section? Yes. It's one of those formulas that if you don't learn anything out of this class, learn that formula because you're going to use it. If not, you're going to use it to see and project things about savings accounts and IRAs and things like that. All you have to know is the rate because you've got all the other information. How long you want to keep it, how long, the number of times, but most of the time, 90% of the time, you can factor in as equal to what? 12, because most banks do monthly accruements or calculations. Capiche? Okay, did we get that answer? Oh, that's doing something else. I'm not worried about that. And I'm not worried about that. That's just comparing. Make sure you write down annual percentage yield, also called effective yield or simply yield. It's actually percentage by which the balance increases in 1 year, and it's equal to the APR and interest. They give you a formula. It's divided by, hold on. There, they just show it. So if N is 1 and is 8%, you take there's a formula there that you take. I don't know the formula. We'll just wait to do that later because that's not very important. I'll do that when we come back. I'm not worried about that. Continuous. Write that one down. They should have had a formula for that last section, that percentage yield. They should have had a formula. I'll have to find it. P-E-N-T. Don't write that APR times Y. N-T. Or R-T. I'm sorry, R-T. P-E to the R-T. A is equal to P-E to the R-T. Now the R-T goes with the what? The E, so make sure it's Hubert. Alright? Sounds like some kind of shampoo. Isn't there a shampoo called Hubert? It used to be. It used to come in a green bottle. Not Pearl. It's called Hubert. Somebody Google it and see if I'm not crazy. Okay? I believe there was one called Hubert. Oh my gosh. Somebody did it to me again. If you like Stranger Things, then you're going to like this show. And they told me the show, and I watched 2 seasons in the last 2 days. What's it called? Hemlock. Yeah. So there is a Pert shampoo.
Yeah, it's right. Check out them at Walmart.
Oh, they still sell it?
I guess so. Target's like $6.
All right. Anyway, A is equal to PRT. And find E on your calculator. It's usually around the logarithms. On your TI-83, it's down here. There it is, above the LN. E is equal to 2.17, blah, 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 blah. It's like pi. So, and the continuous compounding and the compounding are close together. Usually continuous is less calculations for the banks, and it gives you a little bit more than compounding. A little bit more. So most banks go with continuous. You have to ask the bank. There it is, I got the numbers transposed, not 2.17, it's 2.71. And that's continuous compounding. And we're not going to do that because y'all got to go because they're going to knock down the door. Okay? So, right now, what should you be doing for homework? You should be finishing up what? Your tests and your homework. And if you are finished with both of those, you should be starting 4.1 and 4.2 homework. And if it's not done, just tell me Monday or Tuesday and I'll put it up. I'm not going to worry about it if it's not put up yet. So, see y'all. Have a good day. Look.